And?
Crystal Quintanilla.
And where are you from?
Austin, Texas.
Victoria, Texas.
Victoria, Texas. You came up here today and they have this great exhibit. It's called the Border exhibit. And it's done by a group called Refusing to Forget. They have a website. Have you ever been to that website? Okay. We have noticed that a lot of Tejanos, we're from Illinois, me and my son, but I was born in Texas. I was born in Pharr, Texas. Have noticed that a lot of kids, young kids like yourselves, aren't really aware of too much of the history. Have you ever heard of Spanish and Mexican land grants? Okay.
Yes, I'm learning that in history.
You're learning that a little bit in history?
Yes.
Okay, what if I told you that there is a great possibility that your ancestors owned those land grants and that you probably could track your genealogy back to them? I don't know your genealogy or your family tree. I've never met you before, right? So, but it's interesting that you need to research it on your own and find out how far back you can go and if in fact you are connected to these. Because you see, those lands, all of Texas, 433 land grants, belong to Tejanos like you and me and him, that were our ancestors, and it was stolen from them, basically. How do we know that? Because we have the records of history that can tell us that. And a lot of it is in the National Archives in either Mexico City or also in the United States, in Washington, D.C. So we're kind of wondering why the average young Tejanos don't know that much. And a lot of it is based on your parents, I guess. Not a lot is being transformed to you, right? Is that basically where I'm at? Okay, let me tell you, what if I told you that in 1941 there was a treaty between the United States and Mexico? It was called the Convention of 41. And in that convention, they actually said they were going to give reparations to your ancestors if you are in fact one of the descendants. And that money was going to be the amount of money that your ancestors' land value was worth. And what if I told you they gave that money to Mexico on your behalf, on your ancestors' behalf, that was supposed to be given to you, and you never got it because Mexico kept it? How would you feel about that?
Sounds like something government would do.
But you're U.S. citizens, and your ancestors were U.S. citizens. We talked to a black couple today, a little while ago, and we told them, how would you feel if you had reparations because your ancestors were slaves? And you know what? The United States says we did you wrong. Here's $193 million for being your ancestors being slaves. But we're going to give the money to Africa. Go get it from there. How would you feel? What do you think they said?
They're probably mad.
They said, yeah, you better believe it. How come we're not mad?
I guess because we've grown up in the U.S. and we're not partial to that kind of
Kind of numb to it.
exactly.
We've been here so long.
So
Like,
you
isn't
grew
it-
up with this, and
Yeah, so
it's sort of like
We grew up with it. And
what you
our
sort of
parents and our
expect now.
grandparents haven't really passed any of that
So do you
down,
feel
so-
disenfranchised then?
No, not really.
Not
It's
really?
just-
But yet, you still don't care about the injustice done to your ancestors if you in fact are connected to one of these land grants. And the amount of money that was given today, and today's money, would be billions of dollars that was supposed to come to you. You still don't really care about that.
It's interesting to know about it, but it's really.
Me neither.
Yeah, I don't have any.
What if I told you if you were related to one of those ancestors, it would have changed your life completely? Because you see, when they gave that $193 million in 1923 money, it was given to Mexico in 1941 for your ancestors, and that was not even counting oil that was on the land, or minerals. Oil was discovered in Texas in 1901, but they only gave them the property value of what was stolen from your ancestors. The land would be worth billions, trillions today with all the oil and mineral rights that were supposed to have been given to you. That was your family's land. Does that change your thinking a little bit? Because that's what happened. And we're trying to create an awareness. And we have a website called twocountries1lie.org or dospaísesunamentira.org, who is trying to awaken the average Tejanos out there. And I noticed a lot of the young, how old are you?
I'm 29.
And how old are you?
31.
So you guys, are kind of numb to this, and you kind of really don't know a lot about it.
Well, even in schools today, you don't hear a lot about
Yeah, they
the
don't
Mexican heritage. It's all about black people or white people. There's rarely stuff we talk about like Mexican. So that's another issue.
There's a financial
wait,
reason
wait.
for that.
What do you call yourself? Are you Tejana, Mexicana, Chicana, Latina? What are you?
I'm Mexican.
You're Mexican. What about you?
It's the same thing.
Mexican. Okay. What if I told you a Mexican is really an Aztec Indian? Because that's all that was here in those days.
No, I don't. Aztecs, Mayans, all that stuff. I love that stuff. But that
Okay.
history, I looked up myself.
So in a way, we're kind of a blend of all those things, right? Because we have European blood too, because the Spaniards were here, and they were Italian and whatever, came from Europe. So we're kind of a unique blend here, right? So what's interesting here is that we're trying to raise an awareness of your age group and your families and your brothers and sisters out there to allow them to understand that something was done here and it was a fraud committed and perpetrated on our people. So we ask you to go to the website, tell your families about what we said, and hopefully you can maybe take something from here when you leave, and maybe with a different kind of understanding. So I appreciate your time, I really do. And I thank you for your input. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. Anything you guys want to say for the camera? First of all, this will be on our website. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Great. Okay. Nothing else?
No, sir.
Have a great time at the exhibit. Muchas gracias. Que le vaya bien.
De nada.